great to see you. I'm so glad you came to join IS Kids Online today because we're finding out how to stand and face our fears with courage. Courage is being brave enough to do what you should do even when you're afraid. Did you know that there are a bunch of brave people in the Bible? Just like modern superheroes, they are also superheroes in their own ways. Sometimes we might face things in life that seem pretty big and scary. Maybe we find ourselves in situations where we know what we should do, but we're not sure if we have the guts to actually do it. The great news is that we don't have to do those things alone. We know for sure that God is with us. God will give us the courage to stand tall and to do what we know is right. Now, I know each of us have different things we are afraid of. One thing you might not know about me is that I have a fear of public speaking. There was one time I was asked to pray on stage at church, and I was so scared because I had to stand in front of everyone watching me. Before I went on stage, I prayed to God and I asked Him to give me peace in my heart. And after that, I went on stage, I prayed, and I did well. See, we don't have to feel scared because the Lord is with us. We will listen to a story about a brave man in the Bible. But before that, let us all worship the Lord together.
When I wake up, I know that you are with me every step of the way. You're strong enough to handle any fear that I face. Even things that scare me, 'cause they seem too big. Even all the hard things that make me wanna quit. You're bigger than it all, and you're in charge of it. And I don't feel so worried when I look to you, Jesus. Your love is unforgettable. Your strength is undeniable. With you, nothing is impossible. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. When I look at how great you are, your kindness helps me believe that you are good, and with you I can do anything. Even things that scare me, 'cause they seem too big. Even all the hard things that make me wanna quit. You're bigger than it all, and you're in charge of it. And I don't feel so worried when I look to you, Jesus. Your love is unforgettable. Your strength is undeniable. With you, nothing is impossible. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave.
Hi everyone! We've been following along with God's big story from the very beginning, all through the part of the Bible that we call the Old Testament. Remember our story last week about David and Goliath? David wasn't king at that point when he won the battle against Goliath, but eventually he did become king over God's people. David was one of the kings who listened to God, but unfortunately, many of the Israelite kings ignored God completely. Some of them even led people to worship false gods. Not good. Eventually, things were so bad that God allowed the Israelites to be conquered by other nations. Oh no! Some of the Israelites were even taken into captivity to a place called Babylon. That's where we'll pick up the story today with one of those people who was held captive, a man by the name of Daniel. Whoa! Excuse me? Who are you or what are you?
My name is Ariel, but you can call me Mr. Ariel. I'm here because I heard you mention the name of my best friend, Daniel.
Wait, he is your best friend? No way! How can a human be a best friend of a lion? Or we're a lion, or whatever you are.
If you want to know, let me tell you the story from the very beginning. Daniel was one of the Israelites who had been brought to the land of Babylon. Daniel truly loved God. He prayed to God 3 times a day. He was living on a prayer.
Right, that's what I heard. Daniel did pray to God. He followed God even though he was living in a faraway land. In fact, Daniel was one of the young men who the king of Babylon chose to serve in his court. But Daniel chose not to eat the food of the Babylonians because it went against what was in God's law.
Correct. And he ate just vegetables. Therefore, because of his faithfulness, God made Daniel strong and wise and gave him great success. Daniel went on to serve as an advisor to several kings over his lifetime.
I know what happened next. Eventually, a king named Darius took charge. King Darius decided to put 3 governors in place. These governors will be in charge of 120 officials who would be in charge over the whole kingdom. So yeah, it was a big job to be a governor, am I right?
You are 100% absolutely right. But can you guess who King Darius chose to be one of his 3 governors?
Let me guess. Daniel?
Yes, right. Daniel. That's not all. King Darius was so impressed with Daniel that he planned to put him in charge over the other 2 governors. Daniel was on top of the world, or at least on top of Babylon. But the other 2 governors were jealous that Daniel was now about to be in charge over them. They tried to find something Daniel had done wrong so they could tell the king about it. But they couldn't find anything. Daniel was always trustworthy and always did things the right way. These men figured the only way they could get Daniel in trouble was if they could find something he did because of his belief in God, something that went against the laws of the king. You can read about that plan in the book of Daniel, chapter 6, verse 5.
Let me read it for us. We want to bring charges against this man Daniel, but it's almost impossible for us to come up with a reason to do it. If we find a reason, it will have to be in connection with the law of his God. So, these jealous governors knew that Daniel prayed to God 3 times a day, right? And since Daniel was a praying man, the governors figured they would ask the king to make an order that all the people had to obey. For the next 30 days, no one could pray to anyone but the king. If they pray to someone else, even to God, they'll be thrown into a den of hungry lions. Is that right? Right. Now I just realized that's how you met him, Mr. Ariel.
Yes, you're correct again. You know, Daniel was in a serious danger. I was one of the lions, and I was trapped there in that den for so many years. And the people there did not feed me and my friends every day. We were so hungry. We were willing to jump on and eat any criminals they threw in our den. And that day, Daniel was that person.
Oh, so sorry to hear that, Mr. Ariel. I know that once King Darius wrote the order, that means that it couldn't be changed even by the king himself.
You're right. Daniel heard about the king's new law, but he trusted God. He knew that God was with him, and that's what gave him courage. Daniel did what he had always done before.
I heard that Daniel went to his upstairs room and 3 times a day he took time to pray to God. And I also heard that the 2 jealous governors could see that Daniel had broken the king's law. They told the king what they had seen and reminded the king that Daniel had to be thrown into the lion's den.
King Darius was upset because he didn't want Daniel to be hurt, but he felt like he had no choice. He had to follow the law. And then a miracle happened. As Daniel was about to be thrown in with the lions, King Darius said to him, "You always serve your God faithfully, so may he save you." A stone was placed over the opening of the den, and Daniel was stuck inside with those hungry lions. All night long, I was one of those lions, and I still remember how hungry I was. I felt like I was going to attack him right away. But something held my action. Meanwhile, King Darius was worried sick about Daniel. He couldn't eat. He couldn't sleep. At sunrise the next morning, King Darius hurried back to the lion's den. He called out, "Daniel, you serve the living God. You always serve him faithfully. So has he been able to save you from the lions?"
Wait, I think I know the rest of the story. Didn't he respond by saying, "Your Majesty, may you live forever"? And then I knew that God sent his angel, and his angel shut the mouths of the lions, including you, right? They didn't hurt him at all. You didn't hurt him at all. That's because Daniel hasn't done anything wrong in God's sight.
Yes, amazing, right? Daniel was safe because God had protected him from the lions. For me, since then, we became friends and eventually best friends. Daniel fed me lots of good food daily, and I can feel how he cares for others so much. King Darius had Daniel lifted out of the den. Everyone could see that he was unharmed. The king was so amazed at what had happened that he wrote a letter to everyone in the kingdom. He ordered that everyone should respect and honor Daniel's God.
That is awesome! Daniel continued to serve King Darius, and because of Daniel's courage, everyone in the kingdom heard about the one true God. Daniel was able to stand even when the other officials were out to get him, because he knew for sure that God was with him.
Okay, now is the time for me to reveal a secret. Brother, you are Daniel. The Daniel who was thrown into the lion's den. Remember everything that we went through together now? You bumped your head yesterday, and you forgot about me and everyone else. I was pretending not knowing you, but I was just trying to help you remember by reviewing our story together.
Wait, what? I cannot remember a thing.
Let me try to reset your brain by hitting you one more time with this.
Oh, yeah, I think I remember now.
Oh, well, anyway, let's just leave him there. Back to the story. Daniel was able to stand even when the other officials were out to get him because he knew for sure that God was with him. There will be times in our lives when we have to decide if we'll be brave enough to do the right thing. In those moments, let's remember that we're never really alone. God is always and always with us. This is our bottom line for today. You can do what you should because God is with you. Let's pray and thank God for always being there. God, it's amazing to hear how you protected Daniel in the lion's den. You gave him the courage to stand up for those jealous officials who were out to get him. It's so good to know that you're with us too, just like you were with Daniel. Sometimes we might feel too scared to do what's right. We might feel like we're facing those tough things all alone. In those times, please remind us that you are there to help us. Thank you for being there to give us the courage and strength we need. We love you and we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
It's pop quiz time. I'll ask you some questions and you can shout out loud the correct answer based on the Bible story you just heard. Are you ready? Okay, question number 1. How many people tried to trick the king into putting Daniel in the lion's den? Was it 7 people? Was it 2 people? Or was it 8 people? You got it. 2 people tried to trick the king into putting Daniel in the lion's den. Question number 2. What kind of food did Daniel eat every day? Was it fruits and salad? Was it pork and beef? Or was it vegetables? Yep, David ate vegetables every day. Last question. What was the name of the king in today's story? Was it King Darius? Was it King Darwin? Or was it King Darwono? The correct answer is King Darius. Did you guess that one right? You all did it. Thanks for playing Pop Quiz with me.
Hey IS kids, it's great to be here again. I'm Teacher Angel. Let's read the memory verse of this month together. Be strong and brave. Do not be afraid. Do not lose hope. I am the Lord your God. I will be with you everywhere you go. Joshua 1 verse 9b. Great! Let's read it together one more time. Be strong and brave. Do not be afraid. Do not lose hope. I am the Lord your God. I will be with you everywhere you go. Joshua 1 verse 9b. Awesome! Our Bible story told us that God shut the lion's mouth so they weren't even hungry. God was with Daniel in the lion's den. We know that God will be with us too. Daniel had to make the wise choice even when there were scary consequences. There can be scary consequences in our lives too. You might choose to ask for forgiveness and the other person isn't kind. You might choose to speak up about a bully or unkind words on the playground, and your friends won't play with you anymore. You might even tell your grown-ups that you saw something online that you know isn't right, and it might mean you will end up not being allowed to play the game the other people are playing. The writer of this verse reminds us that we can be brave and strong because we know God will never leave us, even if doing what we should takes courage. Doing the right thing isn't always easy, but you can do what you should because God is with you. Let's keep this in mind, IES kids, and see you next time. Bye.
Today we heard the story of Daniel thrown into the lion's den because of his faith to the Lord. Therefore we will draw not just one, but 2 lions. Yay, fun! One is a male lion and the other is female. But before we start, we need to prepare these things: a piece of paper, black crayon or marker, and some coloring tools. I give you time to get them now. Did you get everything you need? Great! Later, when you feel the video is too fast for you, do not worry. Just pause, do your drawing, and press play again to continue the tutorial. And don't forget, when you are done, ask someone to take the picture of you and your drawing and send it to our WhatsApp number below. Come, let's get started.
When I wake up, I know that you are with me every step of the way. You're strong enough to handle any fear that I face. Even things that scare me, 'cause they seem too big. Even all the hard things that make me wanna quit. You're bigger than it all, and you're in charge of it. And I don't feel so worried when I look to you, Jesus. Your love is unforgettable. Your strength is undeniable. With you, nothing is impossible. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. When I look at how great you are, your kindness helps me believe that you are good, and with you I can do anything. Even things that scare me, 'cause they seem too big. Even all the hard things that make me wanna quit. You're bigger than it all, and you're in charge of it. And I don't feel so worried when I look to you, Jesus. Your love is unforgettable. Your strength is undeniable. With you, nothing is impossible. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. Your love is unforgettable. Your strength is undeniable. With you, nothing is impossible. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. When I wake up, I know that you are with me every step of the way. You're strong enough to handle any fear that I face. Even things that scare me, 'cause they seem too big. Even all the hard things that make me wanna quit. You're bigger than it all, and you're in charge of it. And I don't feel so worried when I how great you are. Your kindness helps me believe that you are good, and with you I can do anything. Even things that scare me, 'cause they seem too big. Even all the hard things that make me wanna quit. You're bigger than it all, and you're in charge of it. And I don't feel so worried when I look to you, Jesus. Your love is unforgettable. Your strength is undeniable. With you, nothing is impossible. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. Your love is unforgettable. Your strength is undeniable. With you, nothing is impossible. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. When I wake up, I know that you are with me every step of the way. You're strong enough to handle any fear that I face. Even things that scare me, 'cause they seem too big. Even all the hard things that make me wanna quit. You're bigger than it all, and you're in charge of it. And I don't feel so worried when I look to you, Jesus. Your love is unforgettable. Your strength is undeniable. With you, nothing is impossible. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. When I look at how great you are, your kindness helps me believe that you are good, and with you I can do anything. Even things that scare me, 'cause they seem too big. Even all the hard things that make me wanna quit. You're bigger than it all, and you're in charge of it. And I don't feel so worried when I look to you, Jesus. Your love is unforgettable. Your strength is undeniable. With you, nothing is impossible. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. Your love is unforgettable. Your strength is undeniable. With you, nothing is impossible. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. You are the reason, you are the reason I'm brave. When I wake up, I know that you are with me every step of the way. You're strong enough to handle any fear that I face. Even things that scare me, 'cause they seem too big. Even all the hard things that make me wanna quit. You're bigger than it all, and you're in charge of it. And I don't
Daniel in today's story must have felt little. His enemies were always sneaking up on him. The only thing they could find that they thought he was doing wrong was that he prayed to God every day and followed God's laws more than any other. Even after his enemies made praying to God illegal, Daniel still did what was right and prayed to God. Daniel showed a lot of courage to keep following God and doing what's right. I know now, and Daniel knew then, that you can do what you should because God is with you. Everywhere that Daniel went, the king's palace, his house to pray, even the lion's den, God was with him. Everywhere that I have ever been, and that you've been, God has been with us. When God is with us, we don't have to be afraid of anything or anyone. God will help us make the wise choice and do what we should do. Isn't His promises wonderful? Let's keep this in our hearts and minds always.
When I wake up, I know that you are with me every step of the way. You're strong enough to handle any fear that I face. Even things that scare me, 'cause they seem too big. Even all the hard things that make me wanna quit. You're bigger than it all, and you're in charge of it.